Back in the days, I used to call myself Invisible Abe, and I thought I'd bring you a video on a retrospective on one of my most popular maps. Well, I guess you could say it is my most successful maps in my channel, and that is the Rebel Vendetta. And yeah, and I'm gonna start to admit this part did not age well, especially, yeah. This did not age well. I've noticed a lot of people did fall for this trap the first time, and I think they did make a point that it is a hassle that they have to go through all that obnoxious load times. Even though you can argue that with 9th generation, we have better SSD cards and you have better load times, but then again, it was still a hassle, and yeah, that did not age well, and I kind of regret putting this in there, but oh well, the damage is done. So yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and give you a retrospective of the Rebel, the top, I guess my most successful map, the Rebel Vendetta, just to celebrate the 5 years of Doom 2016, but most of all for me personally, is to celebrate 5 years of Doom Snapmap, which has been a blast, you know. I remember when this was announced back in E3, or I think it was at E3. Yeah, it was at E3 2015, I believe. And when I saw a map maker, that's when I got a lot of Time Splitters vibe, you know, because I was a huge Time Splitters fan. Like, in fact, this might shock all of you, but I personally like Time Splitters more than Doom, you know, because yeah, you could call me a bias, but I never grew up with Doom. But that's when I got Time Splitters, and when I saw the map maker in that, I got hooked on it, and that's when I saw Doom Snapmap. It just gave me so many Time Splitters vibes. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about this map. Why is it called the Rebel Vendetta? Well, the reason why it's called the Rebel Vendetta, this is inspired by a lot of conspiracy theories back in the days when I was a conspiracy theorist. And it was also inspired by that movie V for Vendetta. Like, you could name it. You could, with all the uncurable diseases, the mainstream media being run by some Illuminati pyramid stuff and all that, you know, it was back in the days. When I used to be big on that stuff. And of course, the secret your mission is to like actually expose the cult to your kingdom and for what they truly are, and like just reverse all the damage that they have done, you know. And yeah, I thought this was always a very intriguing setting I can do, and especially in a Doom game, especially since we're talking about, you know, like the Illuminati with all the you could say these quote-unquote ceremonies or demonic activities they like to do, like drinking blood and all that, and that's when you know, Doom is about killing demons, and I'm here like, hey, why not put two and two together, you know, because this is about killing demons, and why not make a own story about the conspiracy theories and all that, you know? And yeah, and in the beginning trap, it was also a reference to the book of Revelations in the Bible, where I believe it did says that whoever takes the mark on the right hand or the forehead, that's when they're marked for doomed forever, and they will be cast down to hell with the beasts. And that's when I decided to make that reference. It's like, you know what, why don't I just put like a little trap right there and tell you that, yeah, you have been marked for eternal torment. But like I said, maybe that did not age well, because a lot of players did get annoyed that they get kicked out of the map like that, and they have to sit through that obnoxious load time, which, you know what, I understand. If I could go back in the days and tell myself not to put the activity that mechanic right there, I would, but oh well, the damage is done. Now you do have 3 objectives of this map. Now this one is the studio area, which is a reference to like the mainstream media. Me personally, I still don't trust the mainstream media these days, but you always hear those ideas that it's being run by a very bigger company, you know, and they're trying to brainwash the civilians and their viewers, and for the sake of dividing, you know. Um, and this right here, when it comes to level design, that's when I thought, like, you know what, one of the key things I want to do is be persistent. Not persistent, I'm sorry, like consistent, you know, because there's a pattern that if you want to access to a student area, you have to go through security first, and that's when I decided to use these the same preset modules. See, now this log is Dr. Zorbos. That is a reference to George Sorbos, I believe that's what he's called. And yeah, I just gave a little background story that, what do you call it? That yeah, he's the one that pulls the strings and all that, you know. And your objective is to like destroy the AI for hosting these mainstream news and all that brainwash their people. And that's why I got the idea, you know what, let me put Vega as the AI that's controlling all the mainstream media, you know. But yeah, I thought it was a little fun journal that I could type in for myself. Now, when it comes to this level as well, I do wish that I can change some things, because there's a pattern I did always wanted to follow. There's your intro, there's your arena wave of events, and there's your more enemies just to get to point A to point B, and then you got to do a task, and then you got to do a special task, and rinse and repeat. And and this part right here, speaking of mainstream media, the green screen with the word sex on it, that is a reference to, you know, you see those little subliminal messages in the Disney movies with the penises and like these sexually images, and like people make out the word sex by, like, you know what, that is, if I'm being honest, that's like really clever that they actually put that there, you know. And I do question, like, what was Walt Disney thinking when he was allowing stuff like that? Was that intentional, or was it not non-intentional? But anyways, that's a story for another day. But yeah, I did decide to put that as a reference, you know, because of course this map is basically supposed to be about conspiracy theory. And yeah, of course the word sex was one of them. And I do remember in that scene in The Lion King where Simba like pushed all those flowers in the air, and it does says the word sex in it. And fun fact, ever since the Blu-ray edition has been released, they actually removed that. So okay, that was unexpected. But yeah, I thought I'd make that reference and actually put that as a subliminal messages, like, oh yeah, and this is where I paused because I was kind of looking at something. Like, instead of a Disney movie, why not put it on a green screen? Like, I don't know, maybe they're making their own studios, you know. I mean their own news source or whatever like that, and just put that as a reference. Now, I do kind of wish I changed this part, because when it comes to acquiring resources, I'm just not a fan of like putting like more than one collectible in one area, you know. And that's one of the other reasons I had a problem with the level design in Doom Eternal, but that's a story for another day. But and if I'm being, and see, in this part right here, that's when I decided to do like a little special task, you know, like you kill demons, but you're supposed to destroy the generator, you know, which quote unquote is Vega. And if I could tell, this map is actually the map that actually updated the most. Because back in the days when Rebel Vendetta was a thing, I came up with the idea after update 2. That's when they introduced the weapon wheel, the hell modules, everything with that. And when I look back on that map, shout out to Z-Manzilla, he did play like the pre-patch days of my map. And my gosh, that thing was so bland. Like, really bland. Like, it was so empty that I'm there thinking like, oh my goodness, what have I done? But hey, maybe I could argue is like, hey, it was back in my days where I didn't have any experience in level design, and every time when people play my levels, you just feel that excitement and that thrill of people playing your level. And that's why I loved about Doom Snapmap, and it made me come back over and over again, because one thing I really yearn is creativity. I just love creativity, you know. I like seeing level designs, I like seeing scripts, I like seeing story based, and that's when like Doom Snapmap is a good way to practice, you know, because I remember when I saw the logic system of Doom Snapmap, it was actually very interesting but overwhelming at the same time. But like, I just took baby steps to see how the logic system works, and that's when I decided to get better at it and like learn about integers, strings, and variables, and that's when it was so much fun, you know. But yeah, and this map, it was like updated so many times, because every time when there's an update, there's always adding new stuff to it. And that's when I'm here thinking like, maybe I could add something else to the Rebel Vendetta, you know. Now granted, that means the scores will reset, but hey, maybe that'll influence people to replay my maps. But if I notice something about the Doom Snapmap community, a lot of them don't like replaying maps. They're more like, oh, I already played this map, I am never going to touch this map ever again, you know. And that's when one day I decided to ask, like, what makes a map replayable to you, you know? And everybody gave different answers. And I noticed in this area, people miss the jump boots so many times, and I'm here like, I put like light on it, and I put that little accumulator energy around it so people can notice. And this log is a reference to the Rothschilds. I think they're the Rothschilds. Yeah. And now in this area, it's more like your task is to actually refund the credit, because there was always this conspiracy theory too that I always keep hearing, that people, they just like to steal their money, and like the big elitists, they run on money, you know, and they're always trying to scam like their citizens and make it look like all fancy. What is it that you're buying, you know? And that's when I decided, you know what, let me make a scenario where you're gonna refund all that money back to your civilians, you know. And yeah, so this area is supposed to be about money, you know. Man, and this part right here, boy, I remember it was very empty back in the days. Now this was funny, like I remember I put that chainsaw right there. And see, when it comes to like picking up your weapons, my goal was to like have access to every weapon that you can, because I remember back in Doom Snapmap on launch day, oh my gosh, it was really unacceptable, and I couldn't bring my vision to life, because back at launch day you can only have 2 weapons at max in Snapmap, and that threw me off. But at the same time, I still try to manage to work around it. But like, really, id only 2 weapons? I mean, time splitters, had the map maker, and you could have like up to 6 weapons, and that's a 6th gen game. And why did you only had it to allow us to use 2 weapons in Snapmap? That is really unacceptable. But thankfully in update 2 they actually patched that. We now have a weapon wheel. Now you have access to all 15 weapons, except the ones like 3 of them are missing from multiplayer, you know. And yeah, I always like the concept of the campaign Doom as well, because one of the things I want the player to feel is I want them to feel progress, you know, that they're actually getting stronger, that you only start off with a handgun and a shotgun, you know, but later throughout the level you're actually getting better weapons, you're getting better upgrades. That's what I wanted the player to feel, and that's when I just try to decide to squeeze in as many as like all the weapons as I can. And that was a really difficult process because you don't want to feel like, oh, you're just handing 2 weapons in like in the same second, you know. You want them to feel progression. Oh, and this part right here, fun fact, back in the original pre-patch days of Rebel Vendetta, you're about to see it right now, hold on. That's when the Berserker power-up right there, that was never there before, because I think it was in update 3 they decided to add power-ups, and that's when I decided, like, you know what, I have not taken advantage of the power-ups they have in Snapmap, so why not take advantage of that and like use these power-ups in each sections of the level. But yeah. Oh, and back in the pre-patch days, that little room right there, that was not a hallway, that was just a room to access the blue key card once you destroy that Gornex, but there was no demons that you can actually fight there. Because I decided to change this because like it didn't make any sense. Like, why fight a Gornex in the other side of the room just to open a door from the other side of the room, like, conveniently, you know? And that's when I decided to make up a scenario. It's like, what if there's just like demons waiting for you to ambush you, and once you beat them, that's when you can actually get that blue key card that they were actually guarding. Ah, and there's the Baron right there.
No escape.
It's funny too that what I wanted to do is make the Baron as the main villain in this level, and I thought like it would be a very fun way to actually just tease you and like set you up about the main villain of this map. Ah, and this area right here, that's when you're transferring all the money back to the civilians, or in other words, credits. But it's not like it's transferring back like immediately with a snap of a finger. That's when I decided, you know what, while it's transferring, I'm gonna make the player fight enemies, you know. Oh, and speaking of enemies, and I remember back in my Doom Snapmap days, like in the pre-patch days, I didn't take advantage of much logic systems in this game. What I did, I felt very lazy, and I used that survival, that wave-based logic system, and the more I think about it is that I guess I'm not really a fan of that if it's in the context of getting a point A to point B type of maps. I mean, if you're making wave-based levels, that's understandable, but I had no control on what enemies I wanted to spawn, because the wave-based were like kind of random, and it depends on the tiers of the enemies, if they're light or heavy, and they choose it for you. But that's when I decided, you know what, let me decide which enemies are gonna be in this area, and that's when I decided to use the group encounters. And that's another thing. See, the more I play Snapmap, the better the better I become handling the logic with all these integers and these encounters. And that's what's so thrilling about Snapmap. Like, you have a vision and you can make it come to life, and you have like a that you want to set up a level, and you just don't know how to use these tools properly. And the summoner. I will get to that in a second. But the more you practice, and the more patience you have too, you'll see that it just feels so thrilling when you deliver that. What is it that you're trying to do in the maps, especially how you handle the logics. And that's when I decided, like, you know what, I'm not gonna go with the wave-based logic system. I'm gonna use the custom encounter, the custom group encounter. You know, that way I have a bit better, more control over it. Yeah. But yeah, Doom Snapmap, like, it was a blast, you know. And this is another thing I did like to use. Here's the thing. When you're picking up weapons, I notice people like to use the one that is bobbing and rotating, you know. When it comes to making maps for me, what I like to do is I like to put a little bit more realism in there, because I like to place the weapons right there and put like a little green glow lights to indicate the and this one Dave Stonefellow, that's a reference to David Rockefeller. Now, but back to the but yeah, anyways, about the weapons, picking up the weapons. I like to leave the weapons on the floor, because like those weapons, I feel like they have a better background story to it. Like, why is it lying there? Maybe somebody left it there, you know, instead of seeing a weapon just like floating and bobbing just like in Doom Eternal. Because I know this is supposed to be a video game, and the little weapon and bobbing makes it feel more video game-ish, but I'm more of a fan. Like, I'm gonna leave green glow lights with the weapons hanging there, and that way, yeah, I don't know, it just, it's that touch that I'm a fan of. That's why I did like when you find new weapons in Doom 2016, they leave the weapons lying there, and I'm actually a big fan of that. And I really wish they actually gave us the animation, the options for the animations to be there, you know. Anyways, now about this area, this is actually inspired about the incurable disease, in other words, cancer. I don't mean any disrespect for those who are fighting cancer. If you are, my condolences to you, and I do hope you really beat it. But there was that conspiracy theory too, is that they actually hold the they actually have the incurable, they actually have the cure for the cancer, and that's when your task is to retrieve the cure for the incurable disease, which is cancer, you know. Because they've been hiding the cure for cancer all along, and at least that was one of the I don't know what happened there. At least that was like one of the conspiracy theories that I used to hear a lot back in the days, you know. But yeah, and that's when I decided, why not use the toxic sludge a lot in this area, because how do you call it? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's filthy and kind of has like a little bit of poison and like a poisonous feel to it, you know. Yeah, and there's that other cache I put under there, you know. Now, originally I was gonna make the player choose which is to upgrade, but oh man, I did get a bit lazy and I try to program that. Cause oh my gosh, that thing is no joke. And see, more weapon drone. Like I said, my goal was to actually make the player progress, you know, like feel like you're actually getting stronger, you know. And this is I just now this part I kind of wish I did better, because especially your goal is to get the green key card just to push that button, and yeah, you destroy that disease AI which handles all the cancer, you know, or the uncurable disease, in other words. See. Now I do not know why that point of interest did not disable. I could have swore I disabled it, you know. But yeah. Now this part that is coming up right now, do pay attention to that, because I do notice a lot of people do miss this, especially on their stream. Yeah, and this is where you get the access to the BFG. You see the Baron is actually running away from you as well, just to lock you in a room full of like super demons. Now this is a reference to MK Ultra, where like they're actually experimenting like people with all these brainwashing technique, and I'm here like, you know what, why not make up a scenario like this, and like instead of like brainwashing, they're just experimenting on people to turn them into super demons or something like that. And yeah, I was being stupid because I don't know, the game decided to glitch on me and I was trapped there. And yeah, the only thing I did is just like buffed up their attack and their HP, you know. So yeah, you're just fighting these failed experiments, and that's when I got the idea from, you know. And yeah, there's the Cyber Mancubus right there. That one was like really, I'll admit, that one was really hard to beat, because it's a Cyber Mancubus and they're very beefy, you know. And just imagine with like the amount of health you can increase, you know. Now originally this part before there was just a Baron, but there was a Baron in the middle. But ever since they, like, shout outs to Terratella, where he discovered you could put a summoner in here, that's when I decided, you know what, instead of a Baron, why not replace that with a summoner? And that's when I patched the Rebel Vendetta again. And that's when I was thinking, you know what, instead of like doing this, why not just trap the player with fighting all 6 demons? Because I noticed that people are just like breezing through the map like with no problem. And that's when I was thinking, you know what, let me just spice up the difficulty here. Now, okay, now that little green ball right there, this was kind of a funny mechanic that I decided to do. It's semi-invincibility. I decided to do that because another power-up that was missing from Snapmap is invincibility, you know, and that was in the campaign, but I don't think modders have found a way to input that. So that's when I decided, you know what, let me see if I can make my own invincibility. And that's when I just decided, like, just let's lower the attack power for the AI to 1%. And I called it semi-invincibility because even the 1%, I still took a little bit of damage, and that's why I decided not to call it invincibility, because I mean, you're not invincible if you're just taking a little bit of amount of damage. And oh yeah, and that's me trying to look back for the missing secrets and the upgrades. Hey, surprise, surprise, that even the creator doesn't remember where he put all the stuff in. But yeah, that's another thing I really liked about the Doom 2016 campaign a lot. Heck, even the classic Dooms, because I'm always a fan of finding secrets, you know. I like it when they reward you for thinking outside of the box, just to find these little secret rooms that feel very mysterious or like out of place, or like it's from another world, you know. And they reward you so much with like ammunition, but in here I decided to like just reward the player for like thinking outside of the box with upgrades, you know. And like it's just insane. That's the reason why I liked about Doom Snapmap, because like the amount of creativity and the logic systems is insane in this game. It's super insane that there was this guy that made his own Tetris game, and when I saw that, I was like, my dude, for real? Is that what Doom Snapmap is capable of? That's crazy, you know? And if I'm being honest, I really wish more games nowadays can actually take advantage of like doing like a level editor system, you know, or a map making system, because ever since I played Doom Snapmap, I'm having a little bit of high expectation when it comes to third-person shooters or first-person shooters, to like let players like make their own levels, and with like a really nice logic system. And my expectation when it comes to the logic system, if you can make your own Tetris game, it's on the right track. Or if it's better than Doom Snapmap, hey, more power to us, you know. And yeah, this is me just looking around like an idiot, like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot where I put all my secrets. But hey, if you can find that last secret, guys, leave it down in the comments below, and hey, props to you, my dudes. But yeah, guys, like 5 years of Doom Snapmap, it has been great. The Doom Snapmap community, sadly, it is very small today, and it's kind of drying up. But the good news is, like, the Snapmap community, Doom Snapmap can now kind of be modded. Again, let me put emphasis to that phrase when I say kind of be modded. When I mean that is modded props that did not make into Doom Snapmap, but you can actually input it in there, because for some reason it was hidden in the files or something like that, and now we can actually work our way around to actually make our own movers or animations, you know. But of course, that's only PC players can do that. But hey, the good news is that console players can actually play this. Now, when it comes to Snapmap today, it feels like it's drying up. I kind of wish the Snap Hack modding program kind of came in, like, I don't know, maybe 2 years earlier. Maybe we would have a better, larger Snapmap community. But it definitely feels like people have abandoned Doom 2016 because Doom Eternal came in, and like they made Doom 2016 obsolete. Even Hugo Martin, I believe he said that ever since Doom Eternal came out, Doom 2016, he can't go back to it, which that is a statement I disagree on. Me personally, I believe Doom 2016 still has its charm. Yes, and this little background story right here, that's when I decided to get inspiration. Like, you know what, all these people running, pulling the strings, and they think they think they're doing good by teaming up with the devil, but nope, surprise surprise, the devil backstabbed them and like sacrificed them to try to take over the world, you know. Oh boy, now this part, I'll admit, this did not age well. This did get, the more I think about it, it did get very tedious, and it feels like a chore to play. Because for this area, what I thought is like, what do the players really want in Doom 2016? What do they really want? And the majority of them, they just say they just want to kill demons. That's it. They just want to shoot stuff, shoot demons, and that's it. And that's when I was thinking, like, okay, fine, let me make a mechanic right here for the final area. You're shooting, you're just fighting waves and waves of demons, you know. And while you're doing that, you're doing a little special task, which definitely feels dated. yeah, right here the trick is to actually just shoot like 3 to 4 rocket launchers, you know. And yeah, the more waves of demons, you disable the barriers for the blood, the gore nest, and to shoot that little quote-unquote icon of sin looking figure up there. But yeah, this part did not age well. And that stupid PO. Oh wait, no, never mind. That POI is gone now. I've noticed. And yeah, that's when I decided to put the regeneration ammo, which, you know, a fun fact too, back in the pre-patch days, this map I did not enable the option to like to spawn ammo at the demons from the demons every time when you kill them, because back in the pre-patch days when they spawn ammo, they spawn the universal ammo, which gives you ammo for all sorts of guns. And you know what, that since you have access to the BFG, that's gonna refill that too. And you know what, I don't want the players to break that and take advantage of that. So that's when I think it was update 2 or 3. Was it 3? They gave the option to actually add that mechanic from the campaign that every time you glory kill, it only gives you ammo of certain weapons. Now, sadly, it kind of helped for this map, because the thing is, every time when you glory kill a Mancubus and a Cyber Mancubus, they spawn a general ammo. No, it doesn't matter if you have the alternate AI glory kill ammo types, you know. Every time when you glory kill the Mancubus or Cyber Mancubus, they give you general ammo, and that kind of broke the map in a way, because people could just get infinite BFG ammo, you know, which, yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry for this tedious process, guys. But hey, if you guys are enjoying this, hey, I'm glad that you are entertained by it, because like I said, people just wanted to shoot demons, and that's when I decided to give them, okay, let me just give them waves of demons they can fight, you know. But yeah, Doom Snapmap, man, it's such a shame that the community, well, the Doom community, they just like, how do I say it? They just ripped Snapmap a new one, which one of their arguments is that limitations. My argument is that what were you expecting in a level editor, you know? Don't all level editors or map making tools have limitations? I mean, then again, they could have that mindset, because I'm pretty sure it's because Doom, the classic Doom, that thing is super moddable. Like, you could literally make your own FPS game in there now. And I think that's when people got the idea, is like, oh, I'm gonna set my expectation that you can mod Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, you know? And oh no, look at Snapmap, this thing is super limited. But even with these limitations, I've seen people create some of the most amazing maps, you know, and amazing mechanics, and that's when I was hearing like, yeah, it is limited, but work what you gotta do, you know, because it is a level editor, not a mod making tool, you know. And I'm not sure if you heard the news, and right, phone? See, my phone agrees. I mean, not everyone has access to a PC for modding tools, you know. So I do think that's why it wanted to do a snap map, so that way everybody have access to map making, you know. But yeah, but my opinion is that if Doom Snapmap came out after update 2, I think we would have seen a much more healthier traffic of Doom Snapmap, you know. Cause, oh man, even the launch day Snapmap, it was abysmal, but even I had to like just suck it up and work with what I got, you know. Yeah. Now another another argument people like to make about Doom Snapmap being so bad, you can only spawn with 12 demons. Well, yeah, it is a 3D game, you know. You do know AI behavior, they take up memory, you know. It's not like the classic Doom. All they do is just walk and shoot, walk and shoot. But in this game, they jump, they climb, they run away from you, they try to maneuver, evade from you. So of course you're gonna have 12 demons, you know? Or maybe, my theory is that they don't know how to handle the respawn. How to respawn that many demons, you know? Because the way it works, that let's just say you have 10 demons and you kill 6 of them, 6 more demons takes its place, you know, and then you kill all of them, and then 12 demons takes its place. That's how it works, you know. But yeah. Now Doom Snapmap today, though, it is still having problems too, you know, because there has been some publishing issues and publishing delays, which that makes it a big hassle, you know, and I really don't know why is that, but that really sucks that Doom Snapmap is just in a dry state, and it's kind of a messy state at the moment. Kind of, because right now there are people giving it life support, you know. That's what I feel like. Doom Snapmap is on life support because of all these modders putting these modded mechanics, or how do you call it, these modded props that never made it to Snapmap, but it actually works, and it makes me happy that even console players can have access to these modded props, you know. Oh, and I forgot to mention this room. I use this prop because it's called the pyramid room, I believe. Like, I think it was called the pyramid room. That, oh yeah, and you see the corpses of those 3 characters that I mentioned, the Roth kids, the Rothschilds, and all that. Yeah, and I used those the cleaning bot to reference Samuel Hayden's corpse. But yeah, it does make me happy that the console players have access to these modded props and they can actually experience them. And yes, the self-destruct sequence. You know what, the more I think about this, what I did, maybe it wouldn't have been a good idea, because the mechanic is that if you run out of time, it's game over. You gotta start all over. And since I did kind of make this map very long, I'm pretty sure that's gonna discourage people from playing this map again, you know. Yeah, and that's it when the last boss is the Baron. And that's when I decided, like, you know what, let's just make this epic. You're actually escaping in a self-destruct building, you know, but no, the Baron traps you and you're gonna fight him, you know, while time runs out. And of course I made him a beefy Baron. But yeah. Yeah, and that's when I decided to do a mechanic that if he drops at a certain amount of health, that's when he respawns ammo, just like in the campaigns, you know. It's every time when you fight the bosses. Bam. But yeah, man, Doom Snapmap, even the modded props. Oh yeah, and this I gave the option for the players, like, you know what, I don't want your mark, just shoot that, you know. Yeah, if you can find that last secret, hey, my hat's off to you. But yeah, guys, Doom Snapmap, it's like one of the best map making tools that I have played. Right now it's still but right now we do have some modded map making tools, such as Proteus, and there's another one I believe that was called, I forgot what it's called, but there's another first person shooter indie game that is working on a map maker as well. But yeah, that's Doom Snapmap, man. It's been 5 years and it's been a blast you know. So shout out to the Snapmap community, man. So like dedicating all their hard work making maps. And yeah, you know what, believe it or not, I'm still hoping for Snapmap to come back for Doom Eternal, but I guess people just want modded tools instead. Which, oh my god, so let's just be honest, you just want the modded tools for the H Doom mod, right? But whatever. But yeah, that's Doom Snapmap, guys. It's been 5 years. This still holds a special place to my heart, and I still see myself playing some maps and replaying maps today. But I kind of wish Doom Snapmap had more healthier audience, and I really wish it just could come back to Eternal. But yeah, guys, that's my retrospective of Doom Snapmap and for this map Rebel Vendetta. So thank you for joining me, and if you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe and have yourself and I'll see you on the next one. So laters.